Hi, my name's Catherine Sargent. I'm in Zimbabwe. I'm covering a story on the old people here in Zimbabwe, and I'd like to introduce you to Les and Craig Hunt, and they are absolutely totally instrumental on all the information that's coming from this story, probably so much more than what I have time to make a documentary on, but something that needs to be said.
Bulawayo Help Network has a database, and on our database at the present, and believe me, it does not cover every pensioner in this town, but at the moment on our database we have about 1,700 people. 1,700 people. Out of those 1,700 people, 300 are so destitute that they are in need of being fed. So will be feeding about 300 people. That is just in the homes. That is not the individual people that soak feed as well, which is probably another 200. So you're looking at about 500 people that need to be fed in Bulawayo alone. Then on the medical side and other assistance, as in rent, accommodation, you're probably looking at another 600 people that need this assistance. So we're looking at over 1,000 pensioners that need assistance in Bulawayo alone. The Bulawayo Help Network, how it all came about was there was a lot of splinter groups that were, and charity organizations, churches, etc., that were trying to assist the old people in Bulawayo and were probably duplicating a lot of the work. So the Bulawayo Help Network was actually set up in the sense of an office that could coordinate what was being done for the old people, whether it be medical, whether it be food, whether it be rents, whether it be money to help people just to survive. And it was set up so that we could actually build a database and see how many people we were actually dealing with, and then also not to duplicate what we were doing. As we got more and more into it and got more involved, we discovered that a lot of our pensioners who had set up their lives, worked their whole lives and planned for their retirement, thought they would be living in their golden years, all of a sudden discovered that the carpet had been pulled from underneath their feet. Many of these people owned their own homes. Some of them were well-to-do people. They'd invested their money, but because of the inflation that's happened in this country, everything that they had, whether it was an asset or whether it was monetary or with cash investments, whatever, it all became useless because the inflation just ate away all the value of their money. So these people that thought they had planned for their old age suddenly realized they were in serious trouble. And a lot of these people now cannot afford their medications, and I'm talking about life-saving medications. They stopped taking their life-saving medications. We did lose a couple because they weren't taking their medications. A lot of them stopped eating properly, so we ended up with people being malnourished. And that's how the Bulawayo Help Network and the trust that we set up all came around, was to help these people to try and get back on their feet and survive what is happening in this country. The one thing about Zimbabwe is families have been split all over the world, and often when children have left to go and make their own living in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, wherever, they tend to forget what is happening to their parents here in Zimbabwe. A lot of the parents are also far too proud, which I'm sure we can all understand because we all have our own pride, to actually tell their children how they are suffering in this country and are probably starving to death because they don't want to be a burden on their children. Please, if any of you have families still here in Zimbabwe, take this as a warning. Your parents are probably starving to death. And if you need any help, please contact the BHN and we will assist you. The other thing is we do have pensioners here who do not have any assistance. They might not have any family. They might not have friends or anything out of the country that could assist them. And those are the people that are the most destitute because they have no one to turn to, and that is why the BHN has been set up to assist these people, give them food, give them medication, help them to have a decent life. They didn't deserve this. They are suffering, they are destitute, and it's not fair on them. None of them can afford to go to a doctor's surgery because they are not on medical aid, or otherwise their medical aid, they have to pay a huge shortfall that they just cannot afford. Dr. Legg is the most amazing man. He gives of his time freely. He gives up an afternoon once a week to go and minister to these people. They see him for free. And he has all these shoe boxes, and literally shoe boxes around him, and in them is the drugs we have been donated, and he dispenses those to the patients that come in and see him, because many of them cannot afford to buy their medication, or they are just not available. So it is the only way that we can get these life-saving drugs to these people. I'm just appealing to everybody out there, if you had any connection with Zimbabwe, or whether you just care, £20 to one person in this country will keep them alive for a month. They will be able to pay their rent, and they will be able to live comfortably. £20 in the countries that you live in is not a lot. It's go and buy a Kentucky Fried Chicken or a pack of cigarettes. But to these old people, £20 gives them their life, and that's what's important.
And Craig, what is your part in all of this?
Basically, I came on board to assist with the Bulawayo Help Network on the feeding program for the old people. Just to coordinate meat products which we can't get, which are not available. It works on a sort of, you either know somebody or you don't. We're organising minced beef, chickens. We're about in the process to go down to South Africa and organise an account to facilitate dry foodstuffs back into the country.
So Les, you do the medical, Craig, you do the food.
Yeah, we do the food.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I think the reason I came on as well was to try and coordinate all of the homes, the need for all of the homes. At the moment we have 300 of our old folk that are in dire straits. Even if they have the Zimbabwean dollars, which most of them haven't, they can't buy any product. So we've taken it upon ourselves to try and source the goods from out of the country, in the country, literally wherever we can find it. We know what their needs are. It's just a matter now of finding enough money, to be honest, to supply it. Just this last week, on 2 products alone, which some of the people haven't had, namely chicken and we do beef, minced beef, they haven't had any for 6 to 7 weeks. The conditions of the people when I went around, it was actually appalling. Very thin people, very frail. No assistance from anybody else except a handful of Bulawayans. Basically, that's how we've got involved. I'd just like to appeal to everybody out there for financial assistance if possible. We're doing our best. We're opening accounts out the country where people can donate. We've got runners bringing in food for us for nothing. There's a lot of local input. Basically, we need you guys to help us, to help our old people.